So in my house right now, we are in preparations for Benjamin's first time as a sleepaway camper at Eisner, the URJ Joseph Eisner Camp Institute for Living Judaism. Let's go wave. Thank you, Benjamin. It's pretty wild to me, honestly. We have a kid who's old enough to be an overnight camper. Some of you had children who were overnight campers, or maybe you were overnight campers somewhere. You remember that experience? Something about camp is different. Time works different at camp. A day is a week is a month. Nothing happens. You're just kind of there. But the way that time passes at camp, so much happens while nothing is going on. There's extra activities and there's fun and there's crafts and this and that, and like time in the bunk or whatever it is. But relationships deepen and thicken and move quicker because you're just there all the time together. And yeah, it's good. Like now like they leave their devices at home, so they have to like look at each other and talk like human beings and people. There's something about the way that time moves at camp when you're just away that's different. And as I was, Rabbi, forgive me, as I was looking at the Torah portion this week, it's a double parsha, matot maseh. The maseh is, what's the technical term? Boring? I think it's boring. It's boring. It's long. It just like, I thought about, I'll read you some, but I'll let you go to Oneg. You don't need a nap now. You'll take a nap at home. It retells the journey that the Israelites took, all of the marches they made from here to there. And like nothing happens. They were here for a while, and then they walked to here, and then they were there for a while, and then they walked to there, and they were there for a while. Then they walked to there, and they were there for a while, and then they walked to there, and they were there for a while. You get the picture? I was talking with a friend of mine. He said, you should just make sure it's a 40-minute long sermon so people can feel the length and the tedium of the text. Matt, I decided not to do that, just a little hint of it. But Torah's on purpose. Like, why does it give us all this minutia? It doesn't add to the story, doesn't move the narrative. So many of these places that it mentions aren't even part of the stories of earlier in the text. It's just there. What do you think they did all day? 40 years of wandering. Yeah, they had to like find food, find water, but like nothing happened. I think the text is there to beg us to be curious about all that time. This week, do you remember Sunday? What happened on Sunday? You do anything on Monday? I pulled out my calendar. I was like, that was this week? Wait, what happened? I couldn't remember each day. The text is there to beg us to notice all that time in between. Yeah, there's no like revolt of the people, and the Israelites aren't whining about this thing or getting swallowed up by the earth every day. But in that time in between, at all the places they lingered, because they weren't walking for 40 years. Some of our sages say that's God's mercy and God's grace. They weren't just wandering and walking for 40 years. They wandered for a bit and then stopped and settled for some time. But while they were there, they laughed, they told stories, they argued with each other, people fell in love, babies were born, people passed away. There were silly things that mattered and silly things that didn't. This like meandering, long, kind of tedious piece of text invites us to make sure that our lives are on purpose. Invites us to notice all of the little things that happen so that each day doesn't just flutter off into nothingness. To notice the joys and the hardships of each moment. to attend to each little thing that passes in time so we can see our lives as worthy. Not just the big grand stories that change and shape a narrative, but all the little steps in between. The places where we wandered and the places where we settled. All the little stories that happened along the way. It's the invitation of spiritual practice, what it means to be a part of sacred community. So we get to live our lives on purpose, noticing the moments and having a place where we can come to mark them together. Our lives aren't nothing. Sure, nothing happened, but so much happened in between. It's why we do that thing after we light candles and before we sing L'Chadodi. Well, we start singing L'Chadodi. You're talking for a while. Because we need that. We need that time so that our week isn't just nothingness that kind of flutters off and passes away, but so we get a chance to look our fellow in the eye and share the things that happened, the things that we experienced, the song we heard, the book we read, the tweet that made us annoyed, the meme we found that was funny, all the little things. It's not just the big, we need the little stuff too. It's what marks and fills out our lives. Torah, the stories are there on purpose. In a few weeks, Benjamin's going to get a couple weeks of like, wah, right? of all of the joy and the richness that comes because you're at camp. And for us too, who don't have the gift of going away to summer camp for a couple weeks. How do we make sure each moment of our day, each day of our week, each week of our month, each month of our year, that each of them is worthy of noticing and naming, writing down maybe a word, a line, a sentence, a paragraph a day so that each moment is lived with attention and care and purpose, meaning that fills us up and helps us see ourselves as worthy of celebrating and blessing together. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may we be worthy of days, weeks, months, years, hours, minutes, seconds of attention and care for ourselves and the people around us. Shabbat Shalom.